So I think we can start the next session. That will be taken over by my colleague Ademola Ayemi. Is Ademola there?
I don't think so.
Okay, so should I go ahead or should we wait for him?
Maybe you should go ahead, and when he joins, then he will continue from where you stopped.
Okay, so we'll do it that way. All right, so we are in the second session. The first session was heavy. I hope we all enjoyed the discussion, holding back our questions, our remarks, our reservations at the end for today. So in this next session, my colleague Ademola Fayemi should be the moderator, but he's yet to sign in. So I will take you in this section till he comes. So our first speaker will be Zakaria Mutelo. Zakaria Mutelo Isaac. Please, are you present?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay, so please, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Just let me just share. Can you? Okay, just a second. Okay. Great. Can you see my slides?
Yes, you can see it, yeah.
Okay, just a second. Let me just minimize this. Okay, thank you very much, Sister Christy, our moderator. And thank you for that lovely picture behind you. Yes. I would like to start by thanking the organizers of this conference. I'm highly grateful for the opportunity to present. I'm very, very happy. Thank you very much for the initiative and the theme, which is very, very interesting and exciting at the same time. So my topic is bioenhancement and the quest for personal and collective identity in post-colonial Africa. And as the moderator has mentioned already, my name is Isaac Mutelo. I'm a lecturer and director of quality assurance, research, innovation, and commercialization at Arupe Jesuit University in Zimbabwe. I'm also a Catholic priest. Yeah, so thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Perfect. I don't know how I can move this. How can I minimize this, which is okay, maybe that's better. Great. So thank you very much. Yeah. So as we have been discussing from yesterday and today, very interesting discussions indeed. One thing we might have already realized, which I'll try to emphasize in my presentation, is that bioenhancement blurs the line between therapy and enhancement. And this really includes, technologies like gene coding, neurostimulation, brain-computer interface, and many other examples we might want to cite here. But one thing we should not forget, and some presenters have emphasized this aspect already, is the fact that our history in Africa, from the perspective of science, but also from the perspective of religion, and other fields of knowledge. Our experience has been quite complex because our knowledge systems, as well as what we might call African indigenous knowledge systems, African medicine and so on, most of these were somehow marginalized, by the West, and this has been the case, which has, in some cases, created some kind of mistrust and dependency. We depend so much on the West. We can say the same things from the perspective of law, politics, morality, and many other aspects. Yeah, but The main question here is, what does it mean to be human and African in an era of human enhancement? What does it really mean? You know, this issue of personal but also collective identity. How bioenhancement reshapes individual and collective identity in post-colonial Africa. This is very, very important, very, very important question indeed. Allow me to give brief definitions of bioenhancement as well as identity. I know some have done this already, so I'll be very, very brief. I know I have a few minutes for my presentation. Yeah. So from the perspective of thinkers such as Pearson and Savelusko, in their 2016 publication, bioenhancement can be defined as deliberate use of biomedical technologies to improve physical, cognitive, and emotional capacities beyond treating diseases. So this is really beyond, you know, the treatment of diseases and so on. Yeah, we can add other aspects, even from spiritual perspectives. You know, for me as a priest, I could add those things. There are many examples, as I've mentioned already: gene coding, neurostimulation, cognitive enhancers, and many other emerging biotechnologies. Yeah, so it might be in the case of therapeutic intervention, you know, therapy, treating illness, or for the sake of enhancements. You know, we've had discussions on transhumanism and so on already. But in Africa, the issue of identity is very, very important. I can be a priest, but I'm also an African, you know, I'm also a Zambian. So this becomes very, very important. Personal identity versus communal identity. And personal identity is quite important because it has to do with my self-perception, my personal values, my beliefs, my abilities. And of course, in Africa, and as one of our prominent African thinkers, Mbiti, would put it, this is defined in relation to the family, to the community, you know, so it's in relation to that, you know. That's where now communal identity comes in, the understanding of social responsibilities, belonging, shared values, and so on. And of course, as we mentioned yesterday, this is linked to, you know, the African philosophy of Ubuntu. I'm a philosopher, by the way, so the African philosophy of Ubuntu. But I think this issue should be discussed from a certain theoretical framework. And I would like to propose two theoretical frameworks in discussion of this issue. Number one, a decolonial thought, kind of perspective. You know, what am I saying here? Based on thinkers such as Mignolo and many others, decolonial thought examines ongoing coloniality of power in terms of knowledge, economy, culture, and many other aspects. So there is this kind of imbalance, you know, understanding of things, and many bioenhancement technologies originate in the global north, not really from Africa. We are trying in Africa, but the majority, and this is not a logical fallacy, no, the majority really come from top, coming down to us here, you know. And this then, you know, carries some kind of assumption about individuality, progress, productivity, and so on. So without a decolonial framework, we as Africans risk reproducing dependence and adopting technologies that do not fit our local values. What are our local values? Ubuntu, relationality, and many other aspects. So I would like to, based on this framework, I would like to encourage for what one might call epistemic autonomy, you know, for Africans, you know, as we approach this whole conversation on bioenhancement and so on. African bioethics is another aspect of, you know, the theoretical framework I'm proposing based on what I'm talking about. This, as we know it, just like, you know, the African philosophy of Ubuntu is grounded in the notion of I am because we are, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, muntu ni muntu kupitira mwa antu ena, moto kimoto kabato, that's isiZulu, Sotho, and Nyanja, and this emphasizes, relationality, responsibility, communal well-being, and so on. So this becomes then very, very important that the whole conversation, bioenhancement, even by extension, transhumanism, should be rooted in some kind of African bioethics. I won't go further because we've discussed this already through other presentations. So I'll now move on. Yeah, so when then it comes to, as we have already highlighted and I've already mentioned already, that enhancements like gene therapy and many others sometimes, redefine self-perception as well as, other aspects of being human, which can make a person to ask, who am I then? Who am I? Am I still Isaac? Am I still Mutelo? Am I still Father Mutelo? And so on. And these technologies from another angle, can either empower communities or create divisions between enhanced and unenhanced human beings. So there is that question which then comes in, some kind of a divide, technological divide, you see. And it raises ethical questions about maintaining cultural heritage, relational identity, and so on in enhanced individuals or human beings. Then another fundamental question then which comes in is that of authenticity and belonging, How authentic am I after undergoing such a process? How authentic will I be? And the whole notion of alignment with shared and collective values and responsibilities also comes in. And this then challenges Africa to integrate new technologies without compromising cultural identity and as well as individual identity, But
Hello?
yes,
Mutelo, you have 4 minutes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. So there are some examples, for example, from Nigeria and South Africa, where they have used some experiments using CRIPS for sickle cell, in terms of that healing. Some of you are aware of the gene drive research, being done in Burkina Faso and Uganda, brain-computer interface pilot projects in South Africa, and so on. So those are some of the things that are now, being done, even in Africa, apart from just in the West and so on. And there are many benefits, of bioenhancement for Africans, for example. I have cited CRIPS, and gene drives, which are meant to improve health, allowing individuals to participate fully in personal, family, and communal life, and so on. Cognitive enhancement can also, strengthen personal abilities and even collective learning and so on. Yeah, so there are really many benefits, but there are also challenges. I've already mentioned the over-reliance on foreign technologies, which might undermine autonomy and local knowledge systems. I've mentioned that already. And these enhancements may benefit only the elites, which then creates some kind of a technological divide from that perspective. And some people might reconcile, but might struggle to reconcile enhanced abilities with personal and communal identity. Who are they? After that process has been, performed on them. And I have a number of recommendations here to consider based on the research that I've conducted, so far, based on this topic. There is need to ensure fair access to bioenhancement to strengthen communal cohesion, that's collective identity, and prevent social stratification. Because what I'm saying is, based on the Ubuntu perspective, what I've called African bioethics, is then very, very important. And also the community must be involved, in decision making, when these trials are being done. And this whole process, should be embedded in Ubuntu, relationality, and so on. There's need to promote partnerships as well between scientists, ethicists, and cultural experts to ensure alignment of technology with identity. This issue of identity we are talking about here, very, very important. Maybe we need to establish bioethics councils. South Africa has done that already. South Africa has done that already, which is quite important. Then, in conclusion, I think I've emphasized that bioenhancement is already affecting Africans, through initiatives such as gene drives. This is being done in countries like Burkina Faso and other countries in terms of trials on how to deal with mosquitoes, for example, which is a major issue in Africa, and the whole process of bioenhancement offers opportunities and risks as well. And its impact on personal and communal identity depends, of course, on governance, ethics, and so on. And Africa must guide adoption using decolonial thought and Ubuntu, what I've called African bioethics, to preserve identity. The goal, therefore, is to empower individuals and communities, as well as strengthen cultural identity and ensure equitable, sustainable technology use across Africa. And the main challenge is, to use enhancement to support flourishing rather than deepen divisions and exploitation. And my emphasis is on the need for proactive leadership, the need for policy making, and community-centered ethical engagement to protect identity. So I work in Zimbabwe, and in Zimbabwe we say ndinokutenda zvikuru. In Zambia, I'm Zambian. We say zikomo kwambili. We say ndalumbu maningi, twatasha sana. In Lingala they say matondo mingi. In South Africa they say ngiyabonga kakhulu. Swahili asante sana. Kialibwa kahulu, that's in Sesotho. Bye, Danki. Thank you very much, colleagues, for listening. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Father Mutelo, for another provoking perspective regarding identity in this regard. That is great. So we go